Are you afraid to label your children? Hi, this is Supermom Knows Best, and I'm Erin. Today's question is labeling. Do you or your kids have a label? Are you afraid to give one to your kids, either from an evaluation, your pediatrician, or the school itself? I want to tell you a little story. I have no problem with labels. My children have them. I have them. My husband has one. Back when I was in first grade, my first grade teacher was not that great. There were a lot of red flags that she missed. But thankfully, I have an awesome mom who picked up on it. She waited until the end of the year to say there was any type of problem. She had me start back over with the basic reader that we had been working on all year. She had me go back to the beginning and start over. And she did this in the last quarter of first grade. She waited until there were 3 or 4 weeks left of school to tell my parents that she was holding me back. My mother, who realized that there may be a problem, there might be some issues, took my paperwork that my teacher had sent home from school and take it to the principal. She showed the principal my work and said, "This is not the work of a child who is on level. This is the work of a child who is behind." And the teacher had not done anything to help me to get on level. Her answer was for me to repeat first grade. My mom demanded an evaluation be done and complete before the end of the school year. Now, for anybody who has to deal with the school system and when it comes to evaluating and testing, you know that that does not typically happen to where you have a full report and the testing process within 3 to 4 weeks left in the school year. That just doesn't happen. It takes weeks, months for a child to be evaluated and for the report to be written up. But my mother was adamant and she demanded it, and you will not hold back my baby because she hasn't received the help that she needs. Now, while all this was going on, I was in first grade. I wasn't able to really vocalize how I was feeling when it came to my classmates and my peers. I felt very stupid. I felt very behind. I knew my friends were smarter than me. I knew they were getting better grades than me. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. Why couldn't I figure out what they were figuring out? Why? I was trying so hard. Why couldn't I get the information? Why couldn't I get the same answer? After the evaluation, and once we got the results, it became quite clear that I was dyslexic. I had a learning disability. The papers that had come home from school were written completely backwards. My mother would hold them up to a mirror to be able to read what I had done in school that day. I was given a label at the end of first grade that I was dyslexic, had a mild case of ADD, and I would be put into the special education program at the start of second grade. The school did not hold me back because I had not received the help that I needed. So they were determined that by the time I started second grade and I started working with the special ed teachers, that they would be able to get me up to speed. Back then, first grade wasn't as rigorous as it is now. We were just barely starting on sight words. Different time, back in the 80s. I was relieved to receive my label. I had a reason. I had something to point to. I could finally put those puzzle pieces together to understand why I felt different. Why wasn't I able to figure out the same stuff that my peers were figuring out? It was simple. My brain worked differently. I would have to retrain it to read and see words differently from them. And I was okay with that. It was not the end of the world to receive a label. It was not a bad thing. It made me feel better about the situation and the struggles I was going to have going forward. It helped me better understand myself. In today's world, parents don't want to put a label on their child. Why? I don't know. I haven't fully understood it, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. I believe it is the only way to truly know yourself and to know what you're dealing with. Kids nowadays seem to be looking for a reason to make them special or different, or a reason to explain why they feel special and different. But parents are refusing to tell them or to find out why they're different. So instead, they make up titles. They make up reasons because they don't know the real one. They're making these up. And so they run around with cat ears or a tail because today I feel like a cat. Because they don't know that maybe, like so many of us, they suffer from anxiety or a little bit of depression. So instead, they decide to relate to feeling like Garfield, the wonderful orange cat. There's nothing wrong with a label if it gives you better insight to putting together the puzzle pieces of knowing who you are as a person. I got a little bit of pushback when I decided to finally have both of my boys fully evaluated and written up. Why? Why do you need to know? Why do you need to know what it's called? The school is helping you. They're getting services. They're putting Band-Aids on the boo-boos that they're seeing. But we don't know what it's called, I said. We need to know. They are these balls of information, my boys. They have so many things that put them together that make them who they are. And I didn't know what to call any of it. I didn't know what to point to and say, oh, that's just your whatever it is. It's the things that make us unique. It's the things that make us different and special. Being labeled with a learning disability and being sent to special ed in the 2nd grade did not make me feel any less of myself. It's what I had to do to catch up and to get on level. And I was happy to do it. So don't be afraid of giving your children a label. It can only help them if it is presented in a positive light. It will help them figure out why they feel the way they feel. And that's not a bad thing, because the alternative is them saying they feel like Garfield the cat. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you'll know when I upload my next video. Thanks. I'll see you next time.